Welcome to another episode. I, Sylvia Gina Hunt, certainly appreciate all of you out there watching us in the audience. Today our show is going to be a little different, and we're going to be talking about reality of, I have the great honor of having two of my good friends and other members in Life Towards, and we're going to just have a brief conversation on the realities and what we go through, our own personal experiences. So I'm going to start here on the far off with my good friend, Miss LaBlue, and she's going to start out the conversation and just tell us some of her experiences.
Well, since this discussion is about Buddhism and SGI, I'll talk about how I became an SGI member when I was first introduced to Buddhism. I have a good friend, and she would invite me to Buddhist meetings, and for 5 years I'd go to meetings with her, and I'd go and I'd say, okay, Deborah's involved in some exotic religion, it'll pass, and I kept saying it'll pass. So I was working with a jewelry company, and I decided to move to England. So I told my friend Deborah, I said, Deborah, I'm moving to England, and she said, oh, before you leave, you have to get the Gohanzen, and Gohanzen is a scroll that each member gets. So I said, okay, let me get this Gohanzen, and then I will leave, go to England. I won't have to hear Deborah's mouth again. That was my plan. So we went to the temple, which was located in Queens at the time, and I received the Gohanzen, took it home, put it away. I'm not going to deal with her. I went to work the very next day to tell my boss I was quitting. I was moving to England, and she said, I'm sitting across from her, and she says, oh, no, you can't quit. You can't quit. I plan to make you my assistant and give you a raise, and she's just naming all these things I'm going to get. Now, they tell you when you get the Gohanzen, all these benefits come, but we think it'll happen anyway, and we just ignore it. So anyhow, she's telling me what she's going to do, and she said, and if you want to go to England, I'll pay for you to go to England for 1 week, but you have to come back. So I'm looking like, who is she talking to? But she did, and everything happened exactly the way she said. I went to England, came back working, and life was beautiful. I'd not practiced Buddhism at all. I put the Gohanzen away in a drawer, and I was done. 1 year later, she got married to this guy, and he's restructuring her business and blah, blah, blah. Next thing I know, I'm out of a job. So on my way home, I'm thinking to myself, am I going to cry about this, or am I going to chant? Chanting, we chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo to the Gohanzen. So I'm trying to figure out on my way home now, how do you set up an altar? I'm getting all these things, and I went home and I set up my altar and started chanting from that point, and that's been almost 30 years now that I have been practicing Buddhism, and it's been a wonderful experience, and I'm glad that I did. Just sorry that it took something like that to get me to practice, but it did.
Wow, I really absorbed that. That was deep. It was deep, all the way to England, and that was. I mean, that's a fascinating way to become shakabuku.
Yeah, but I kind of still wish I had moved to England.
Okay, you really enjoyed it that much, was it?
Oh, I like England. I've been to England 19 times. My friends say, you've been here so much, you might as well just move here.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, sounds great to me. You have any questions? What do you want to say about that, Ms. Lemon?
Okay, I think it'll be. Let's get the record clear. She said her friend Deborah. I haven't. That's not me. That's is another else. Deborah. You know.
Okay. Well, I know, we know that the Soka Gakkai International was just millions of people. So
that's true.
That when we look in the mirror, you know that. If you're not a Buddhist now, it's our job here as bodhisattvas to, pass those cards around and at least mention Nam-myoho Renge Kyo.
Oh, definitely.
So that's what we do anyway, just because we breathe it. You know what I mean? And that's, that's our mission. Once we receive the Gohanzen, you kind of feel like it's just a duty to do whatever you can to make other people feel this great happiness that we feel.
That's true.
Exactly.
So it's contagious, right?
Yeah.
So, I feel that, and...
I know, okay. With me, I became a Buddhist. See, I always believed that it was something different. I used to go to church, and I used to look at the figures, the pictures, And then I look back at the people in the church go in the audience. We were like different colors, and I'm just age 5, and I really don't want to get into that. But I said this religion at the age 5. I said I don't think it's for me. My mother used to just drag me to church. Okay, so I really kept away from that religion. That's the opposite of Buddhism. And I remember that I wanted to get a job. And so I went on several job interviews, and I thought I knocked them out. But once they said, okay, we'll call you, I knew I didn't have it. Because they would start, when can you work, how much is that, what time you could start. I'm on the train riding uptown, and this woman came over to me, and she handed me a card. She said, I see that you're having a little problem about something. I'm going to a meeting, and I'd like for you to come to a meeting with me. I didn't know this woman. Okay, she was very decent and everybody, but I didn't know her. I'm young at the time. That was about 30 years ago. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm going to an interview. She said, and we talked, and I said, I don't know whether I'm going to make this. I don't know if I'm going to get this job because I'm getting really tired of going to interviews. And she said, well, say these words on the card, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. And I said, okay. I'll put the card away. So I went on the interview. I thought I knocked it out. And then I had to go and take an accounting test. And I'm really afraid because this is on the computer. I failed. The interviewer came in, you failed the test. Okay. And I started chanting in my mind, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. And I'm starting to pack up my things. And she said, I tell you what, I'm going to give you another chance what we don't do. I want you just take the test, the counting test. So I'm chanting these words, in my head. And I went back and took the counting test. And somehow I just, I'm doing all these math and, math in my head, writing on the paper, this somehow when I finished, I passed, the time, I passed a fact, they gave you 10 minutes to do all this math, like 30 math, and I finished it almost half the time. And so she opened the door and told me to come out. She said, have a seat over there. And I said, and I'm still chanting, until like that. And then she asked me, when can I start? And I'm saying to myself, start. Oh, so anytime soon, as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. And now this is downtown, as soon as possible. And I'm saying, I just can't believe it to myself. And she said, you want to take a minute? Because I see you, and I was just shaking, because I'm shaking in my chair because I was saying, this is unbelievable. And so I was hired on the spot. Okay? I walked out of the place and I said, there's something about this. And I went home and just told her, I got the job. And so, and all of a sudden I just started chanting more. And I said, you know what? I have to find out. She gave me this card. I have to find out where to go because this is working for me. This is working for me. And that's how I was born, and I started getting a lot of benefits. Okay, but I noticed something when I stopped chanting less, my benefits will get slower. Decreases. So the more I chant, the more benefits I got. And I've been a Buddhist ever since then, almost 30 years ago.
Yes, I've seen a lot of miraculous things happen in my life because of chanting. That I can't attribute it to anything else. Really, benefits with my daughter. And what I do is, when there's something I need to challenge in my life, I will write it down and put it on my altar because we all have an altar in our home with our Gohanzen. And I'll write it down and put it on my altar. And my daughter, who was, when I received the Gohanzen, she was like 6 months old. I would always tell her what I was chanting about so that she'd know that this is real. It's not play. It's actual proof. It's a practice of actual proof No one asks you to believe anything. You have to see actual proof to believe in this Buddhism. So I would write things down and chant for them, and each one would come to pass. Some take longer than others, some you're not even meant to have. But just to show her the actual proof in this practice so that she can see and she could carry it on her own life. But as she always put, yeah, Mother, I know, now that she's an adult, I know I got to chant for da-da-da-da, but it seems like when you chant, everything gets shaken up, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I tell her that's right, because it all has to be cleaned out.
The muddy
so
waters.
The benefit can come freely, yes, and flow.
And that's why they said you chant is like you putting your chanting in a bank.
Right. Right.
That's right. That's what they told me.
And that creates
fortune in your life.
Fortune.
Oh yes, because I believe I remember I had got off from work late at night because I had to do overtime, because I work with figures. And I was on the train, and this man came up to me and started talking to me and said, excuse me. When I got off the train, so he said, okay, I'll leave you alone. I got off the train. This was around 11 o'clock at night. He came up to me, and I know you, and said some really derogatory things. And I just kept walking. And he jumped in front of me and put a gun to my stomach. I want you to come down in this building, right downstairs. It was like an alleyway. And I...
Gave him the card?
No, I gave him the card. I started.
You started chanting Dharmoku.
And I'm saying, and I said, listen, if I go down in that cellar, I won't come out alive. And so he said, what are you doing? I just started walking backwards. And he said, I can shoot you right now. And I'm walking backwards. And I said, please don't shoot me. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. I'm chanting. I'm walking backwards. Okay?
Fierce like a lion.
I'm just chanting, I say, if I'm going to go, I'm going to go with, with chanting. That's right. If, if you're going to, I'm going to go. And so he started crying. He said, please don't make me shoot you. And so I just walked backwards across the street. I don't know why I did it. I just kept walking. I'm looking at it at the same time. And so he saw me walking backwards. I think the cars had stopped or something, so I got across the street. And I went to the gas station. I said, that man threatened my life. And they started to run after. I said, no, he has a gun. Don't run after him.
How profound. How powerful. The mystic lords.
He said, Miss, you all right? I said, no, I'm okay. And so I made a police report after that. Then about 3 weeks later, I was talking to some women, and this woman came up and she had a broken arm, and her face was bandaged up, broken nose. And we started talking about how men approach you at night, and she said a man approached her, and he pistol whipped her. And I said, why did he pistol whip? She said, he said something really terrible, nasty, and I spat in his face. And she said the next thing she know, that the ambulance was taken into the hospital. And she described the man, and he was the same man that approached me. And I'm saying to myself, if she had Nam-myoho, maybe she would have thought about not spitting in the man's face.
Of course, violence leads to violence.
Yes.
That's one of the things that this practice has done for me. It makes you think, we have to know how to defend ourselves and how to protect ourselves. But what is the root cause of, these particular individuals behaving this way?
That's true.
And then,
because everyone has a Buddha nature.
Yeah. And just a matter of getting to it. You know what I mean? Of triggering it.
Yeah.
And when you say that, that's just just so brave. And a lot of times we have this just fighting spirit. Because you can't practice this practice and be a punk.
No, you have to chant for protection.
You know what I mean?
But you got to use common sense too.
Buddhism is common sense. Yes.
And it's so wonderful because it just fits in with everything. Just whatever you can think of, Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. There's nothing that is not Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. And so when you think of it that way, that anything that you deal with in this world, right now, in the future, and even when we should pass to the other side, it's all Namyo Renge Kyo.
That's true.
And that's so much of a comfort, at least for me, because it's just a comfort. And you just know, you just feel it. And when you describe it, and when you give a person an opportunity to just say the words, no matter where they come from, or what their background is, or what they believe, it's going to change their life.
That's true.
And if it's not right this very second, then we can be sure that it's going to take its natural effect and its course to change things for the better. You know what I mean?
That's true. And another thing, a lot of people who start the practice, they assume that you're saying that when you practice Buddhism and you chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, that everything is going to be perfect. That's not how life is. I mean, as a human being, you're going to go through birth, sickness, old age, and death. That's just the way life is. But
The
what
four
we
cycles.
do, the cycle of life. But what we do is use Nam-myoho Renge Kyo to overcome the obstacles. Where other people may just suffer through something, we chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo to overcome each obstacle. Because they're just obstacles. They're not, whatever's happening in your life is just something else to be challenged, to make you stronger and move you forward. And we use the practice to do that.
Yeah.
Other people may use something else. They say, Buddhism has no monopoly on good. But we use the practice to overcome obstacles and to move our lives forward and become the highest human being that we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I know
so
if it
important.
wasn't for Buddhism, I could have been doing a whole lot of silly things. But because I've learned in this practice about cause and effect, that rules the universe. I know when I make a cause in my thoughts, my actions, my words, that there will be an effect. I know that. I've learned that in Buddhism, and those are some of the things that help me, not about right, wrong, sin, whatever, none of that. Cause and effect. If this happens, this will happen. It's the law of the universe.
Absolutely.
And once you understand that,
it's applicable at all times.
And it takes a lot of pressure off you. I'm not worrying about being a sinner. I'm not worrying about, did I do this right? Did you make a positive cause that will have a positive effect? That's all I worry about.
Yes.
So,
and humanity and our brothers and our sisters and world peace.
Right.
This Kosen Rufu movement, this movement of world peace, to really have peace for every living, every animal, every monster in the ocean,
that's true.
Things up in the universe, up in the sky.
And that's one
peace
person at a time.
Yep.
That's really true. And you think of this way, and you say your actions is by even thinking it, too.
Yeah. So profound, so powerful.
That's right. Just thinking it. If you think negative, then you're gonna have a negative effect.
That's
so
true.
That's why I try to keep my thoughts positive. Now I've been around people, and they thoughts. I've been around people and with different other religion, and I'm sorry to say, and I'm not sorry to say, and they think so negative. I don't believe in war. I believe that we should get together and peace.
Absolutely.
Well, okay, but some other believe in war to bring on peace.
Well, just when people ask me, why do you like Buddhism? And I tell them, I like Buddhism because I don't have to hate anybody.
We can love everyone.
I don't have to hate anybody because you practice this, that. No, I don't
that's
have
fine.
to do. It's not required in my religion.
Yes.
So that's one of the main reasons I love it.
And it's just so beautiful.
It is.
Just when you think,
It is.
when you sit back and you have an opportunity to think, the idea that we even call every little baby that's coming into this world fortune baby, and every little child a fortune baby, because we know, because what you said of karma, a baby, if we teach them good and the good deeds, then these children will get the effects of goodness. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But that doesn't mean that they won't go through a baby's teething and, you know, sometimes I'm crying and sick. Sure they will. Of course, that's the human nature.
Or at least teach them early about cause and effect, and that human life is sacred.
Yes.
That
So
they have
this
to
way
respect people, that they have to respect other human beings, that they have to respect life, they have to
the
respect
water,
the
the
planet.
environment, everything.
When you teach children that early, that benefits the entire society.
Yes, because water counts, the environment counts.
Yes.
You know how how they interact with elders and youngers and just the world.
Yeah.
And the animals.
Children aren't being taught that.
Yeah, it's a lot of grave errors that's been going on for hundreds of years, in fact, because now we get the effects of these negative things.
That's true.
So the thing is, what can we do to really change it around? You know, you ladies have any suggestions? What we can really do?
What they said, you know.
I know Shakabuku,
Shakabuku,
sure.
you know, it said, okay, even one sentence of a phrase. That's the Shakabuku. That's, you know, spreading Buddhism.
Telling people about Nam-myoho Renge Kyo.
Yes, or even
and how to become happy.
Yeah.
Or,
And loving them no matter what they choose. Well, I mean, there's no hard feelings.
Because everyone will practice
right.
Buddhism. We're clear on that. That's not an issue.
I know everyone is really a Buddhist. And went in, okay? And I remember the phrase that the darkest before the dawn. Okay, winter always turns in the spring.
Yes,
and I remember to go get guidance.
Always turns to spring.
I know one of the Buddhist leaders. I went for guidance about my job, and I'm telling one of the Buddhist leaders, and he said, "Winter will always turn into the spring."
Absolutely.
And I'm saying, you know, I'm going through this, and you tell us that winter always turns into the spring, and the darkness before the dawn, and I'm like, please help me. And he said, do you chant? I said, yes. So he said, do you practice? I said, yes, when I had time. He said, no. You have to chant more. You have to practice. You have to study.
Yes.
Okay. And I walked out a little confused, but I noticed that you have to keep Buddhism alive. Okay.
You do.
Yes.
And you need the organization and you need the other members in order to help you keep it alive.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's not nothing that we make up or we go on our own. There's particular ways to practice and practice correctly.
Exactly.
However, the motivation in our job, the serious part, is to make sure we always tell others. There's no time or good time. It's every time is the right time, because everything is Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. And we're clear on that. However, there's also the other side, that because we're so respectful and because we're so clear, we also can dialogue with any person. Where they come from doesn't matter, and what they believe doesn't matter, because our only initiative, our only goal is we require them to become happy.
Right.
That's why we tell them about Nam-myoho Renge Kyo.
And it's spreading because we're in 192 countries and territories
Absolutely.
around the world, and everywhere you go, someone is practicing Buddhism somewhere. You
Absolutely.
find members everywhere.
Right.
Africa, India, Europe, Asia, Australia, New Zealand. Members are everywhere.
And it's just wonderful.
It is. It is.
When we
It's
get
really
together
spreading.
whenever we get together at the different Soka University,
South America.
yes,
That's
everywhere.
right. And everyone sounded like when you chant, and you couldn't tell what person where the person came from, because everyone sound the same when they chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo.
Yes. Yes.
And that is a beauty in itself. Just
Yes.
hearing it, it's just something that just is it's just breathtaking, and it's a healing. It's very soothing.
And
A person that's very sick, even on their last days, if they hear that, absolutely, they're going their next phase is greater.
Yeah.
It's just great.
Yeah.
It's no doubt about it. It's just great.
I was in California last month, and a friend of mine, I wanted to go to the Cultural Center in Oakland, California, so she came with me.
Yeah.
But she didn't go in the Gohanzen room with me. She just sat outside, and I went in there and I chanted, and I was chanting with a couple of other members. And then I came out and I left, and she told me a few days ago, she said, you know, it's interesting. I've never heard that chanting before, but when you came out, you just seem lighter, not as heavy as you were before you went in that room. I said, okay. I mean, my Daimoku worked that time.
And just from people watching us, that's another way to just shakabuku so
People
easy.
are always watching you.
Watching you and just seeing that you're naturally happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That even sometimes I don't want to say that it irks other people, but just because human nature, it's very difficult to come into so many people where there's so many smiles and people are just so happy all the time.
Oh, but they're also watching you too to see when you're not being quite the Bodhisattva. I saw what you did, and you go, oh yeah, okay. Well, you know what? I'm human, but I'll pull this together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That's
With the joy and the happiness and just
Yeah.
it's just amazing.
Yeah.
And so, ladies, wow, look at the time. It's also like it's just really like some good medicine. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It changes all the poisons into a good medicine.
Into a good medicine. That's
And with
right.
that, we're going to end on that, and that's going to be what we're going to take out, and what we hope everyone in the audience that listen to us talk about how wonderful and great this is, and how
And if they
we
want
all
to practice, they can give one of us a call.
That's
please
right.
do.
And it's actual proof. It's just actual proof. It's no contradictions, no falsehood. It's the straight.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. So we're going to say happy holidays
Happy holiday.
Happy holiday.
and happiness to everyone, every day.
And peace and happiness.
The happiness and the holidays are every day.
And Nam Myoho Renge
And Nam Myoho Renge Kyo.